we may be giving time and then we may be taking time. Now that plays a role. Now let's say we finished a certain job that was given to us, while our counterparts, that is the rest of the people in our project, are yet taking time to complete it. What are we doing then? Right? They are taking time and you are giving time, or the project leader is giving them time. This makes a huge difference in terms of, are you giving time, are you taking time? These things develop into a pattern of thinking, which is, are we stressing or are we feeling completely de-stressed, right? Because our stress level builds on what is it that we have to do, right? Sometimes our stress increases when we feel time's running out and we have to accomplish all these tasks. Now we are like running and screaming and trying to get it done because it's going to be over, that sort of thing. So also, I said there's individual time is different from universal time. We meet people in different times of their life, and because they are also part of a universal time. So if they've spent more time on this planet Earth, that means they are in a different time, right? They've seen the vagaries of time. They have seen the journey of life through time. So they may be in a different stage. And if we've spent only this much amount of time, there's not only this much, but we are in a different stage of time. So every day we become part of the universal time too, and then the individual time. We have to understand these two things. And again, giving of time and taking of time. Sometimes we worry, how much time is it going to take for me to learn all that? And everything in this world is programmed with time. There's this many years of studies in school that we have to do, this many years in college, there is this many years. And then they say, you have to spend a lifetime learning. That means it's never ending. So there's a time frame put on everything. But when you notice that when you're leading time, suddenly it gets a lot more easy. I remember this, we were telling in another context, but there's a person who's constantly coming and telling a bunch of, their office colleagues about how they have all these accomplishments. Their uncle is a billionaire, and then they have a yacht, and they have a mansion, and they have da-da-da, and they keep going on with all their acquisitions. And it's kind of like every time you have to hear to this person, you feel like you have to pay, your fullest attention into all their accomplishments. One, to understand what it is, because they are all simply out of the world sort of achievements. And the other is to think that in the grand scheme of things that you haven't done anything close to that, and you're like, wait a second, I don't know when I'm going to get all that done. So there's all of that happening. Meanwhile, another friend comes, and this friend says, hey, that person, every time they come, don't believe in anything that they're saying, because that person is a liar. Like, you will not believe anything that comes out of their mouth. They're always lying. Next time around, this person comes, do you really have to worry? Do you really have to worry? Because even if they speak an hour long, you know that you do not have to stress. So therefore, what are you doing in that amount of time? Sometimes within a minute, all of whatever that people took for hours to learn may be available to you, and suddenly you'll feel that you didn't take that long, and you'll be like, where were you? How come you didn't tell me this? Wish I'd known. I have spent years worrying about this. Like this individual, this person's caused so much of worry and anxiety in others, and they've spent years in this, and they're all wondering, how come we never met this other person who gave this tip, this news that makes it much easier to us? Where were you? So that particular day, their time makes more sense, because they feel like all these years, had they known, they wouldn't have been anxious at all, spending time after this person's gone, worrying hours on end about why that their life is not as exciting as, because they were worried. So therefore, time grows, time becomes valuable, time gives us gifts. There are so many things that time offers, despite of the fact that they say that time is a destroying factor, it is non-renewable, and that once it dies, and life is a run towards your finish line. Every day, as you spend time, you're running more towards your death, and that sort of thing. Almost so morbid that you worry if time is such a destroying factor of life, right? So we tend to start worrying that life is a race against time, right? Someone was saying that, become a friend with this race partner called time rather than treat them like a competitor and then you're running to catch up with time, right? So if we follow some of these tips, it's a lot easier in how we spend time. And yeah, we've heard several other people say, oh, do not multitask, that'll hamper your time. And then there are so many of these tips that, yes, those also play a role. But more than anything, make time your friend, and then everything will make sense. We don't know when our calling is, as far as, when the time, as far as this existence gets over. But remember, between the giving space and the taking space, all of that makes sense of how time plays a role in our lives. Wishing the very best to everyone to make the best of their time, because that's the most wonderful present that we've all got. Thank you.